it started.
So has it been bugging you since SEMA?
Oh, it's been bugging way before then.
So Shaq, you're gonna have to come all like pretty much to the edge of the table. Yeah, like that. Okay, cool. And make sure the mic is rolling. Yep, mic. You're off. Good. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No. So finish. Go into what you were saying. So we were talking about YouTube. So you were saying that 80% of channels never make it to 10,000 subscribers, and 89% of channels die within the first year.
Yeah, it's some crazy statistic like that. That's just, it's an absurd statistic. But every time I kind of try to kind of reevaluate to see, is this time worth it? Is this investment worth it of time, energy, resources, opportunity cost? When I read statistics like that, it kind of keeps me motivated.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, I've already endured the shitty part of it. I've already endured the hard part. You know, it's kind of like...
You're already in the top 20%.
Yeah. Like I've already gotten that part of it eliminated. So now it's just growth, loyalty, and consistency. You know, and keep bringing
like one video. One video goes viral and then you're good.
Yeah.
You know, then that can help carry the channel even more.
But that seems like such a hard thing to do.
Going viral is winning the lotto.
Right.
Almost.
Yeah.
Right.
But when it does, you know, you I don't know.
But I think the consistency is a big part of that because, like, until you're consistent long enough to be put in front of enough people for the right person to see the right video, like you expand that that lotto shrinks with every video that you make as your reach expands. That lotto, that statistic shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and becomes more probable. Obviously, nothing's guaranteed. You still have to put out good content. And that's, I think, that's the one of the hardest things is constantly, at least from our experience, continuing to put out fresh content that's not the same shit.
They've been way consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we also, and this is this is one of the reasons why we love the community and the guys that we associate with, because we're learning every day. We're not only learning more about business, we're not only learning more about social media, about SEO, about marketing, about manufacturing, about selling. We're students. So for us, it's exciting and things are fresh and new. And that's one thing a lot of the guys that we have the pleasure of meeting this year, a few guys that are really successful on YouTube. And I'm asking them, what do I got to do to get to where you're at? What did it take? What's some advice that you'd be able to give us? And that to me was like, all the value in the world.
What did they tell you? What were their feedback?
Consistency.
Yeah.
That's what they get on the schedule.
That's usually the key for everything, right?
And it really is.
Consistency. Like you just keep going. You don't give up.
Yeah.
Like if you don't give up, there's only two things that are going to happen. You know, you're going to die or you're going to make it. Yeah.
As simple of a concept as that seems, like it is so hard for people to actually do.
Because it takes discipline.
It does.
It's hard.
It does.
It's really hard. Like there's so many times where we don't want to do it, but when you go through hard shit and you make yourself do the hard stuff, you realize the good stuff, or maybe not as much of the good stuff, is going to happen to you because you haven't put that work in.
Yeah.
Or you're not prepared to handle the situation because you haven't trained yourself or you haven't had enough experience. But through discipline, if you just continue to keep going, anybody that's successful on any of the social media stuff is going to say, man, I'm so embarrassed to look at my old videos because they were so trash, so garbage. From what our channel was at the beginning to what it is now, it's getting closer to what I first initially envisioned the channel being and our reach. And it's getting closer and closer to the reality that I had and the vision that I had in my mind. And I tell Sal this all the time. I'm like, this is one step closer. Like when we have those times, I'm like, okay, this is one step closer to what I originally wanted it to look like. Like, okay, now we're closer than ever because it's just everything is evolving. We're getting better at our audio, at our production, at our editing, at our lighting, at the content that we're making, on the schedule, everything, like thumbnails. Like we're staying consistent.
Thumbnail game is where it's at. Though.
We got a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
on
but your consistency on like the way when you go to your page, the brand that ties into it, just how like you're. Yeah. I love that.
Vision is so. Go ahead, Tom.
We talked about being consistent and being disciplined. Those are all easy things to say, right? Because we just said like it all comes down. But we're finding ways that in order how to do it, the way we're doing it is we're incorporating it into work.
Yes,
fitness. It's now part of work.
It's not. Yeah.
Recovery is now being more incorporated into work.
Like this.
YouTube is now work. YouTube
travel is now part of
that's
work.
in the calendar as like just like we would do with details, just like we would do a service.
It's what
during this time frame we're shooting videos.
Yeah, that's how and that's how disciplined we are. When
that's how you're here.
Yeah,
that's how you have to approach anything. It's like I have.
If you're in that haircut, I was like, you like being it. You need to do more of this. You need to have someone do your feet. Right, you're at work.
Yeah,
I'm like everything. The main things that I have to get focused to every single day, I have to schedule because it's so easy. Even if I have them on, in the back of my mind, I will forget or I will find a reason. But when I have to stare this thing down at the end of every day and realize that there's one or two or three of them that's not checked, that's something that I'm not willing to face at the end of the day. But without just even scheduling it or even having a framework to look at,
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. You naturally will put it to the side. You'll prioritize other things in front of it. That's why we go to the gym. People think we're crazy because we go to the gym at 4 o'clock every morning.
It is crazy.
It is crazy.
It sucks every day.
But that's the only way we know we're going to do it.
Yep.
And we will not do it after our work day. We will not do it in the heat. We won't do it in some circumstances if we didn't do it at 4 a.m. in the morning. Because we'll find an excuse to not go after work or whatever. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got, So, okay, well, let's go first thing in the morning. It's now it is in the budget of details, our workout regimen, and that's part of it. Like that's, our personal trainer. That is now a non-negotiable within details.
It's just part of the day.
It's part of the day.
Well, let's talk about our trainer. We found out that we're at an older age. We don't want to do certain things. We don't want to think of a workout. Right. We don't want to rack and we don't want to rack weights. All of that stuff. We have a trainer, takes care of all that. We just got to show up and work out. Yeah. That makes it so much better.
Yeah.
It's optimized.
That's like having an assistant of some sort.
Yeah. Everything. Yeah. We try to optimize everything in not just our business, but it's so many people say, oh, I want this work-life balance. I get that, but we've integrated everything not only by adjusting the work that we do because it's only with people that we want to do it with. It's only with partners that we want to associate with. It's the type of work that we do. If it's not fun, entertaining, developmental, if it's not, bringing us a sense of achievement, if we're not doing it 100% of our capabilities and from a place of joy and happiness, we don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So we've incorporated those ethics onto our business. So now when business and life is intertwined, it's not a problem anymore because most people are like, oh, I love my life and my family, but I have this shitty job.
Yeah.
So I need a work-life balance because it's either good or shitty. Yeah. Like let's decrease the shitty so I have more of the good. That's what most people do. We just had a completely different concept of what we wanted details to be. And that's what we are now. Like we only do fun shit. We were talking about earlier.
Yeah. It's funny you said something though. You were talking about vision. How like the vision you're finally getting. How long has your YouTube channel been up?
The channel has been up maybe 4 years.
3 years. It's 3 years, and you're finally getting close to where you originally visioned it being. People think that I've got this vision, right? I want my channel to look like this. And the moment that they start and it doesn't look like that, they stop. Yeah. Like it's taken 3 years to get kind of sort of close to where you want it to be. The vision, right? You think, I know what it needs to look like.
It took me 3 years to feel like I'm on the right track.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
Right.
Like I just started feeling like, okay, we're on the right track.
Vision.
I made a good decision by starting the channel. That's how I feel finally.
Vision is the easy part. It is the implementation, it's the execution that is the hard part. Like everyone has great ideas. The testament to a true winner, in my opinion, is the ability to actually execute on the things that it takes to create that idea. Ideas are cheap. Mark Cuban, one of my favorite quotes, said, "Ideas are cheap. Execution is everything." Like every one of us, I said this before. Every one of us has had $1 million idea.
Man, you need to come talk at career day. We gotta get you at career day, man.
My son already goes. So shit.
Yeah, without the execution, it's just that's all it is an idea.
Right. Consistency, execution, planning.
Vision's important, but it's not the only thing. Just because you have the idea,
everybody
of
has the vision.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the ones who act on them and the ones that pursue. And with anything, it can be developed. A skill can be developed.
Yeah.
Things can. You see people who are terrible athletes and then they become Division I,
seven-time Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, crazy stuff. And I wasn't always the best, at drawing and then I went to art school. I was like, I'm not here to draw.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for photography, and you would have to take classes that were 6 hours long, figure drawing, with models in front of you. You're drawing, you learn how to hold your tool right. You learn how the ergonomics of your wrist work.
Mm-hmm.
You learn that your posture is important. You learn like all these little things. You learn lines. You learn all these shading, simple stuff. And within weeks, you would think that it's completely different people that were doing these drawings from the beginning just because you're developing a skill. And I always thought it was kind of one of those things like you either got it or you don't. Because we all knew those kids in grade school, you're like, damn, they draw. They're usually like Asian. They're like, man, they draw so good. And you just draw like crap. You're like, well, maybe they, especially if you're like doing graffiti.
Yeah.
Some of the dudes that just get down nice. You're like, dude, they're nice with it. And they don't even do it all the time. You're over there practicing. Your shit's kind of whack. Yeah.
It's like third grade scribbling.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's, I think, I've applied things like that to my life, through all assets of it. Like even now, us doing this idea of what we want details to be, really getting to the people that we want to be around and like forcing that interaction and that brotherhood almost, to us.
I still, even like you guys are here right now, I was like, man.
Yeah, for us,
right?
For us, like we want people to know that we're serious. Like for the people that we want to be around, that we want to support, that we want to, or that we're just some people we're just simply interested in their story or what they're doing.
You changed after that haircut, brother.
Yeah. Jerry got his haircut. He was just kind of like, as soon as he got the haircut there, he was like,
walking different. Hey, my barber did it too.
No, it's just great being here, man. Like we were up at what 3:30. Sal picked me up at 3:30 this morning. Drove into Oakland, got on the flight, came here. We didn't eat. We didn't have any coffee or anything till about noon.
Man, my bad.
It's all right, but we were rolling with Jamie doing stuff. But but right now it's like we have this ridiculous amount of energy because this is where we want to be. This is where our business. This is like it's almost it almost doesn't feel real because when I told Sal about the concept, I said, you know what? Let's go see the guys that we're interested in. Let's go see our friends. Let's go hang out with them. Let's support them in any way we can. And for us, this is one way for us to kind of like do all of those things and also to show how invested we are into not only the community but the industry. And we really want to. We want to be here for anybody in any way we can because there's a lot of people that say, hey, man, I'll be there for you or whatever it is you need. And we have, and everybody we consider in our circle in the industry, we know we can count on them. And we want people to know, if we're here with you, you mean something to us.
The thing about that is you guys have earned that right. The thing is people, just because you started and wanted to be around these people doesn't give you a right to be around these people.
Yeah.
These people, especially when you're talking about some of the other people you're going to visit, like these people are letting you into this because of the value that you guys bring. Now, that value today is much different than it was 3 years ago when you started, right? Yeah. 3 years ago, if you would have approached them, there may not have been interest, right?
Yeah.
But you've built yourselves into a form of, to have the credibility, to have these people to not only want to work with you, but to bring you in and have you be a part of the things that they're doing.
Yeah, there's a big trust. There's a big level of trust that we felt like we've earned, where I think people were at first kind of, we would hear things that people were talking to other people, and they'd say, yeah, he kind of asked me about you to see if you guys were full of shit, if you guys were like the real deal. But as soon as they meet us, they're like, okay, you guys really are.
It's kind of weird when people are like that too. It's like
that's just that
it's normal, man. More
the
good people been burnt than not.
Yeah, most of them are shady. Like, they're not shady, but it's just kind of like.
Well, it's because people look at other people as a threat, right? Like, so the people that aren't intimidated or are worried about their own success don't consider you guys as a threat, or don't look at you as a threat, more of an asset.
Yeah.
Right? But those people that act like that or that have negative connotations are people that are looking at you as a threat, instead of looking at how can I collaborate? How can I utilize these guys? Yeah. How can these guys help me? They're thinking, how are these guys going to take from me? How are they going to change? Are they going to surpass me? Are they going to be better than me? Instead of thinking, man, how can I use these guys to help me? How can I help them and help myself at the same time? And that's a big problem with the industry, but the world in general. Yeah. It's always competition instead of collaboration. We talk about this all the time, man. There's so much more in collaboration than competition. Competition, and you guys know this, you are the only person you should be in competition with. Everybody else is irrelevant, because no one else has any determination or any determining factors over whether you succeed or not. So collaborate. I mean, and that's one of the things that I instantly love about you guys, is you guys were so willing and open and just like hungry to collaborate. Yeah. And you guys brought such energy and just excitement to it that it was easy. It was just an easy matchup for us to link up with you guys.
Yeah, it felt like what we were doing was being ourselves and talking about. We try not to talk about things that we don't feel that we've experienced enough to have an opinion, a strong opinion about. There's things I will say, I don't know enough about that, but from what I do know, I kind of lean this way or that way. But unless we try to only talk about the things that we've experienced, so we can give that information and that value to people, because that experience is the difference between you wasting time, money, resources, and everything, or having the answer. If us not having that, you go to, if you want to save some money on a remodel, go ask somebody who remodeled their house. They'll tell you, oh, well, don't do this because I spent a lot of money and I did this the wrong way, so when we talk through experience, I think it attracts the people who are looking for honesty, the people that are looking for people that are like them, the like mind. So I think when we did that on the channel, I think it's kind of like set out our antenna, and you just attract like. So it was for us. It's been an easy decision to make. Some of the partnerships that we've made throughout our career so far, because it's like the right people are coming to us. It's not just. And I used to kind of get back to the YouTube channel. I would see these other guys on YouTube and they're getting sent certain products or this and that. And at the time when you're starting a channel, that's like a big deal. Yeah. You're like, oh, okay, I'm a detailer. Yeah, that's cool, because it is exciting. Somebody reaches out, hey, man, you this and that. And I didn't get a lot of that at the beginning, and we didn't get a lot of that. But I wouldn't take any of that over what we have gotten now, because it's like now the things that we wanted to kind of get the attention of, we have.
Yeah.
And there's there's a lot less of those, I should say, than there is all the other stuff.
And that's so cool.
It's a higher quality.
This is something I think so many people miss, is the things that you miss out on are such a big part of your journey. The opportunities that you don't get are as important to where you are today as the opportunities that you do. Yeah. Because think about it, if any one of those ones that you may have wanted or been interested in, if some shitty brand would have sent you some stuff, could that have tarnished your reputation?
We definitely embrace that.
Right?
Yes, that's definitely part of the growth.
Yeah.
More than ever. Yeah. It's like, you see why that didn't happen? Look, if we would have done that, would we be here?
But people just get so stuck in, it's not happening the way I wanted, or the vision that I had, it's not happening how I thought it would. It's happening the way it needs to. Yeah. It happened like people need, I don't think, and I know this out of first-hand experience, I don't let enough things happen to me. I'm always trying to force things too much that it becomes a detriment at times. Yeah. And slowing down and appreciating the things that don't happen because they eventually lead to the place that you are is such a freeing concept to embrace.
Well, even today we were having a conversation where I was like, because we're pretty much in almost it's almost a 100% creative space with everything that we do. Yeah. So when you're in a creative space, your worst enemy is force.
Yeah.
If you
gravity fed.
Yeah.
Where creativity, you got to be gravity fed.
You want it to flow to you and come to you as instinctively as possible, because that's when things are special. That's when you know it's real.
Authentic.
Yeah. So for us, we've learned how to embrace the patience that we have to have, because like you said, when you want to go, when you're always the one making the moves, taking action, it's hard to let that go and say, you know what, let's just sit back and wait and let's see. We've already put out there what we want. Let's just wait and see. And every single time, it has always happened with us. Every single time.
It all works out in the end.
Yeah, it
all works out.
And even Sal used to say all the time, hey brother, like, we got to make another move. We got to do something. Like, what's next? What you got for us next? And it's like, I can't rush this. Like, I really can't rush this. Like, I'll know when it's there. Yeah. Like, I had an idea for, we have a merch idea coming up that I called you about. Yeah. Something, and that just popped up to me. I said, that's dope. That's dope. That's going to be a fresh one. So that's what keeps us going, because as a creative person, the mundane really starts to take its toll.
The stagnation, it does.
Yeah,
it does.
It takes its toll on me. So, and I suppressed the creative part for so long, and now that Details is moving into a far more creative space than it was before, and the freedom that it allows us to be ourselves and incorporate business, comedy, fun, camaraderie, all of those things that are just like enriching our lives. Mm-hmm. Like, that's our fucking job now. Like, we've created that. Like, that's what the mission was, not only for us, but for everybody else that either watches us or that we meet, or an event that we're hosting or whatever it is. Those things to us, like, that's our life. We want our life to be as fun and as happy as possible. And because we come from, the jobs that we've had before, they're shitty, man. Yeah. Like, they pay well, but they're shitty jobs.
Most jobs are shitty.
So for us, it's like where do you find the value? Do you find the value is your time and your sanity and your stress levels, or in your health? Is that priority to you? Because if it is, you could find a way to make money and still have all of those. Mm-hmm. The difference for us is we put those in the forefront. It's not the money. We put that stuff in the forefront.
It is. I mean, you can make money doing it. Hell, you can start an OnlyFans. Yeah. I'm trying to get my wife to do it for years. She just won't get on board. One day I'll get her.
But you can. But like, once you've learned how to make money, you'll figure out how to make money again. Yep.
Yep. And me and James talked about this the last time I was over the shop.
Definitely. It's like you gotta. It's hard, but. You can't be afraid of that.
Like, if I stripped you away from everything, if I put your channel back to fucking zero, or put everything right back to zero with the knowledge that you had, how quickly could you rebuild that? 8 months.
I'm coming back because all the shit that I've learned, I don't have to deal with none of that stuff before. And I've been in jobs and positions where the rug was pulled out underneath me. Where I put years of time, everything, blood, sweat, and tears, into positions where where it was gone. And I had to start from square one again. But that shit turns you into a beast. Because it's like, when you know that everything's been taken away from you, bro. My house, that first house I bought, Oakland, I got laid off in the middle of escrow.
Wow.
In the middle of escrow, bro.
Damn.
Got another job that paid even more before the escrow even closed.
That's crazy.
Because I was like, yo, if I did this before, I could do this again.
Scary.
Oh, do you think I'm scared of anything now?
No.
Hell no. Like I can't be in a more fucked up situation if I tried. You know what I mean? Like, put yourself in that fucked up situation.
I don't want to.
You know what I mean?
That's wild.
That's fucking crazy. And so for me, I'm like, fuck, show me like a little failure ain't shit. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever.
People don't appreciate that. They don't appreciate the negative shit. I had a lot of issues growing up that like I used to think were a crutch, a downside, right?
No, that's your fucking asset, brother. That gives you that you have an edge now.
Yeah,
you have an edge. We all, and I think that's one of the things that kind of brings us together. We all have an edge.
Yeah,
where it's like, okay, put me on the streets, I'll hold it down. Put me in the workplace, I'm gonna hold it down. You know what I mean? Put me in a leadership position, I'm gonna hold it down.
That's damn.
Like that's a different level of thinking. That's a different level of comprehension, understanding, and human development.
And
the more that you go through, the more shit that you got to deal with. Like you're going to be able to handle situations completely different.
Yeah, people don't appreciate the negativity that happens quite enough.
Yeah,
they don't appreciate the growth that happens. It makes you a fucking monster. Like you said, a monster. It really does.
Yeah, so we're not, when it comes to details, and for both of us, this is our encore career. We had careers before this. So for me to create and to start something and to bring somebody with me along, it's like, I'm not going to bring Sal into some shit that's terrible.
Sal would have come into some shit that was terrible.
Like, show me first before you mention.
Like, I got like, and that's something that I deal with every day. It's like, I got to keep my brother happy. I got to make sure he's excited too. Because if he's not excited, I'm not doing my end of the deal. Because I know he's 100% on board and trusting, like, we're going to Salt Lake City? Okay, brother, we're going to Salt Lake City. Oh, we're going to Texas next month? Oh, we're going to Texas. Okay, cool. Like, that's how on board and down.
Yeah, you guys live like rappers.
How much he trusts me, so
switch time zone more than host switch clothes.
Yeah, so it's fun, man. It's we're really happy the place that we're in. We're happy that we. Sorry, my throat is I'm happy. Go ahead.
I just want to ask you guys that after seeing Jamie shop for like in person, is it what you guys expected?
The culture is definitely what I
fucking wild, right?
Yeah,
wild.
Let me check. Let me show you. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, what do you think?
Culture's family there. Like you get that vibe there.
Yeah, I already knew because Jamie has a personality where he senses the type of person really instinctively, like earlier than I can. And I've heard a few people that we know say the same thing, where they're like, Jamie is kind of like he'll pick the ones out that he's just like, I'm not fucking with that person. You know what I mean? So just that internal screening that he has, we already knew. And then the type of person Jamie is, knowing his background, because we work with a lot of other, on the consulting side, we work with a lot of business owners who that's their most difficult area of operating is the onboarding, the hiring of the talent, the choosing of the talent, the retention, even just the pool. They may not even be able to attract the type of people that they want working there. And it's extremely difficult to have people that are there, for him to be here during business hours in the shop to be running, that already tells you what's going on, what time it is.
Yeah.
So it's that's a hard thing to do. That's how pretty much every role that I've been in leadership or operations, that's when I was able to tell anybody that was at a level of management, whenever I was doing any type of assessment, if they were able to operate whatever location, business, storefront, whatever it was, without their presence, with the absence of them there, if it was able to operate soundly, that's when you know a good leader. Because that means people have been taught properly, they've been coached properly, they know how to take initiative, they know how to problem solve, they know the importance of standards. All of those things come into play. So that's all culture. Those are things that have to be taught to people if it's not naturally, embedded in who they are. It's not in everybody.
You're right. It's the difference between working in your business and working on your business. Yeah. And that's one thing he's done really well, is worked on his business. And I know it's been hard for him because he is such a hands-on guy. He wants to be, and it's not even like, oh, I can do this better than you, so I'm gonna do it. It is, he just likes to be in the trenches. He wants to be involved in the shit, whether it's his own vehicle, whatever he's doing, So him having enough discipline, Jamie having enough discipline to step back and start working on the business, especially the last few years. Man, I mean, the culture was great beforehand, but the freedom that he's created for himself, and not just himself, because that opens the door. That's opened the doors for so many other of his guys to come up, and so many more opportunities. Bringing on, Trevor, for example, like it really is a testament. He is one of the, in my opinion, one of the most underrated businessmen in our industry. Yeah, it's wild. His business acumen is
that's your label. Wild. We're talking about labels. You're looking for a label. What was that?
Underrated.
Yeah, and
here's a label for you.
Jay, we knew most of the people that we associate with. We already kind of know where they stand, as far as how they conduct business for the most part. Mm-hmm. You can usually tell because most of those things are already instilled in themselves. Whether it's the way they take care of themselves, the way they speak, their tone, their just ethics in general, and how much pride they take in things. But it's
thank you. I mean, you love me.
It's important that we recognize those things, because a lot of the times you don't have somebody there patting you on the back. You don't have somebody. I need one of those too. Because we don't get, Jamie may not have anybody over there patting him on the back saying, "Bro, you're doing it." I'm sure he might, but you never know. There's times where all of us,
that pat on the back.
I'm sure there's times where all of us feel like we have the world on our shoulders and like we're drowning, and we're just like, fuck.
And people underappreciate, like when you get into employees and shit, just like your dynamic here, like having not Sal to be responsible for, but knowing that you're like the success of this is not just impacts you. Like that's one of the things I think that a lot of guys coming up don't realize is they're so quick to, I want to have 10 employees, I want to have this. Yeah. Like every one of those employees is now a livelihood, a family that you're responsible for.
You should want to take care of them.
Yeah, you should, but you're also, be careful what you wish for. Because that is, you want to talk about pressure, man. Knowing that you have 10 guys, that if you make a mistake, the shop closes, you know what I mean? That's 10 families that you, and it's hard not to pile that on yourself. Yeah. That's
real right
there. The other dynamic of this here is he has a responsibility, right? That he's never going to get away. Like Sal's on my team, I got to provide. But the other dynamic is I'm on his team. I gotta survive for me, and I also gotta survive
for sure.
So the same. Like I gotta hold him down just as much as he's responsible to make sure I'm doing the same thing.
Absolutely, no, 100%.
You know what I mean? So I told him that I was just like, so this is not a one-way street. Right. Like we're getting it both ways, man. Yeah, so know that we talk about attitude, like knowing like we all been through some shit. Like I don't fail either, so we're good.
Yeah, like, so when you got people like that on your side, where it's like, when we all know how good we are in our positions of whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like if you guys feel like, yo, I know I'm a good father, 100%, I know I'm a good father, but you got another father, on a team or whatever, or your kids are hanging out with them or best friends, like, okay, well, I know he's a damn good father too. So I know when my son's over playing with their kids or whatever, I know he's going to discipline my kid. I know he's going to make sure that my kid's not getting into trouble, whatever. Like, that's how it is with Sal. Like, Sal's like, yo, I was top of the class too, son. Yeah. So it's not like it's just me as...
No, for sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's how it feels. Like, having somebody like that behind you or with you, next to you, or in front of you, because the roles flip all the time.
100%.
It's like Sal, like, hey brother, you're leading this one. You know, so he may take the lead on some things. I may take and we know when to do that, but we both have the confidence that whoever has to take the lead, it's like, okay,
For sure.
you got it. I know you got it. So it's not a worry. So, and if I did fail on something, or if he failed on something, you got somebody right there to like back it up and hold it down and help you either repair it, fix it as it's happening, or come with another idea and say, okay, look, this is how we're going to remedy that. Or just to say, yo, how many times have we cut things out because we're just like, hey, brother, that ain't going to work. Like that is just not going to happen. Logistically, it just can't happen. Financially, it's gonna take too much of a hit, or that's just gonna be a bad decision for the brand. It may hurt our reputation. That looks like it's gonna be a bad move, whatever. So all of those things, the decisions are made on both hands, and it's nice to have. Like for me, I love having that second set of eyes because there's so many times we've almost made big decisions that were crucial, and Sal will come up or I'll come up and we'll say, no, brother, like. Did you consider this, and this? Like, no, man, I was just thinking about the good shit.
Yeah, for sure. And
we do that.
Yeah, but that's going back to what I was saying is like people don't appreciate like and that was meant in a two-way street, right? Your success is as dependent on Sal. It's like, but when you have people that the decisions that you make, whether it's you or Sal, the decisions that you make could impact people's financial like. Levity, it is a scary proposition. It really changed the dynamic, and was just going back to like Jamie having so many employees. It's a pressure that it takes a different type of individual to shoulder that, and I don't think guys coming up in this industry or any industry really step back and even evaluate whether that's a responsibility they're willing to take before they create.
They're not ready for it. They haven't even gotten to that thought process yet.
Right. It's not even.
That you know what? And the sad part is it won't. That predicament won't even get into their head until it slaps them in the face.
It's too late. Yep.
And that's why it's important that we have these conversations for people to be like, oh. Fuck, I didn't realize, like, I did want 2 shops, or I did want, 5 mobile units, or I did want, there's a lot more to consider when you're building your business model than just, physical growth.
Right.
Because the responsibility, that's a whole nother job within your job.
For sure. It's every time
there's HR departments, there's human resources, risk management, there's so many other things. Accounting is going to get more complicated. Taxation is going to get more complicated. Your finances have to increase. Like there's a lot of different things that come into play with that. Not just the physical responsibility of that's another human being that's there. That's
Well, then I'm stressed out now.
No. You've been doing it for
you got it on lock,
to
bro.
you.
That's the moral of the story. Normal. You got this shit on lock.
People don't understand.
Hey, but that's good though that you realize that, because then you're realizing room for that you could improve as you're thinking right now. You're just like, okay, I could tighten this up. That'll take care of that. That's what's happening right now.
That's what it is. It's like you're always tightening things up.
Yeah.
Like you don't.
You just found
there's
out
always
you tightened
something
up.
loose.
If you're smart, I don't think everyone does that.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
People keep doing the same thing.
We're talking about that earlier too.
Yep. People don't do that.
Yeah, there's always something that there's a loose bolt.
Yeah,
somewhere.
If there's not, you're just not looking good.
Yeah, you haven't found it yet. Yeah,
look harder.
People get complacent. They get that second shop and they're like, all right, now I can sit back and relax and rest on my laurels. And just because you don't have to be physically at your place, this is kind of the point of the story. Just because you don't physically have to be there doesn't mean that you're not working on the business to improve it. Just because you're not there doesn't mean that you're still not, on a day in and day out basis, all day, every day. Like, doesn't mean that you're not working on the business. And like the fact that you still are looking to add. I mean, that your new building you just got what, like six months ago, and that was your fourth or fifth one there. After all this time, 4 shops, 4 units there. That's it. Like what I was saying is when I pull up, it's still like every time I pull up, I'm like, God damn, like just understanding the scope of what you've created there and that you're still adding. It's like that's what's motivated me to working with you. Is it's like I know it's never enough, and I mean that in a good way. You're always looking to improve and increase and add. Like but people get stagnant. They get to that $1 million revenue, and then they think that they've got it made, and before they know it, that $1 million is actually $500,000. Yeah. And the point, I guess the point I'm trying to make is like, if you want to maintain success, you always have to be moving forward. You cannot stop. You cannot rest on. There is no point where you can just sit back and idle. You have to, even if it's just working on the business. And I think a lot of people lose that. They don't realize that it's a constant work.
Well, that's what, like, process improvement is always in the forefront for us.
Well, it's
like with everything.
Again, how we do that, the way we figured out the best way is whatever we don't like doing.
Yeah. Whatever
that is.
Whatever's causing us problems. Whatever we don't enjoy doing. Whatever we don't enjoy doing within details, in any spectrum of details, we just eliminate it. We don't want to do anything we don't want to do. We don't want to do anything that we do not like doing.
When you say eliminate, do you just cut it out, or do you just figure out a way to?
We can modify. Just a solution. We can either modify it or just source it out. Yeah, exactly. There's multiple ways to find solutions. That could be a whole video itself. But yeah, like you said, sourcing out that the headache is no longer yours.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain things.
So you guys have a company that you guys
Dent, PPF,
other details.
Yeah. We don't even certain type of work. You know, we'll have them do it, then bring it to us.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll do certain things. So,
we do the same thing.
Yeah. So it's a solution for your business, so you don't have to do certain, whether it be manual labor or process or dealing with a certain type of clientele. Like,
or fucking
like we don't
your
deal
books, or you get VR and have your emails.
We didn't want to have to continually pay for ads ever within the business.
Yeah.
We never wanted to do that. So what we did was we hit the community hard. We hit all of our clients and the contacts, everything. We hit them with so much customer service that was like beyond anything they've ever had before, where they were locked in and telling everybody, like our clients, do all of our advertising for us.
But the way that you were able to do that is you had the vision, because that's not everyone's journey. There's lots of people that do pay, and that's okay too, if that's their business model, if that's the business they're trying to create. Yeah. You had an idea of what you wanted it to look like.
So I eliminated the immediate. I said, okay, well, instead of having this ongoing cost that I'm seeing a lot of people have to pay for, let me eliminate that from the forefront. I already knew the size, and here's another thing: we already knew the size that I wanted details to be. I didn't want it to be big. Right. I needed it to be manageable, easily manageable, because again, we eliminated the things that we didn't want to have to deal with.
Yeah.
And one of those
came from corporate.
Yeah, one of those is scale. We didn't want to have to deal with scaling. We didn't want to have to deal with. We wanted things to be as simplified as possible. So that's all we do is we simplify pretty much. We simplify, process improvement, and then we optimize. Yeah. Those are our key components to our business, and that allows us to be able to come here. It's part of everything. Like part of the business. Everything is integrated into the business model to allow us to be here, to not be suffering financially.
Right.
For us to be able to incorporate the YouTube channel a little bit more and invest in the creative side of details, and to kind of fulfill that end of things, and it's helping people. So
for
us, sure. That was all part of our mission. It's like, how do we do that in a streamlined way?
Yeah.
Instead of having to deal with headaches to get from point A to point B. You know?
And the thing that's important there is that, like, when you're just starting out, like, don't just start out to get work. Really take time to figure out what you want this business to look like for you, whether it is
what is your
a path like that.
What's your mission statement? You have a mission statement?
That's one of those things that we talked about. Like, we know it.
You know what in here.
Yeah, and like that's one of those things that's fun for us. You have the corporate way, you have the details way, and the corporate way, mission statement, all that. Like, I get why, but ultimately it's like for us to be happy. You know what I mean? That's always good. The things you do to get there, that's always going to change.
And we want people to feel it. You know what I mean? Instead of us having to. You shouldn't have to state the obvious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we're not making it obvious enough, then we're not doing what we intended on doing well enough.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Even like, that makes sense.
The point that I was trying to make there is, Like, don't just start the business and go out there and try and get work. Determine what you want the business to look like, because that's how you streamline. That's how you get from 0
what
to
type of
100
work
in 3
you
years.
want to do.
What's
you
the
may
end
be wasting
result?
your time doing
Reverse
stuff you
engineering.
hate. Yeah, you may be doing stuff that you absolutely hate, and then 5 years later saying, "I hate this career. Why did I do this?" You just don't know that you were doing the wrong part of the or the wrong sector of detailing or the auto industry or whatever.
Well, yeah, guys go out and they do the disaster details for $8 to take them 4 days to do, because that's a way that they can get business. But they don't realize that they're going to be stuck doing those disaster details for $8, making 13 cents an hour for the rest of their fucking life. Yeah. So take some time and figure out what the end result, and it may not be the ultimate, but in 5 years, what do you want this business to be? And then reverse engineer it and set your business up from the get to with that end goal in mind. That's how you streamline. That's how you go from 0 to 100 in 3 years, like I was saying. But if you didn't start that vision, if you didn't start with, look, this is where we want this to be, you would have had to make, not that you haven't made mistakes or learned, but you would have made so many more costly mistakes.
You would have gone in the wrong direction for so long, which ends up just being a waste of time, money, and energy.
Yeah.
And those are three things that will not only end your business, but it'll kill your dreams as an entrepreneur really quickly if you're just going down the wrong roads and doing things for for the wrong reasons, or not getting a good idea of what you want your business to look like.
Or even doing things without a reason.
Yeah.
Like, have intention behind the things that you do. Don't just do something to do it. Have some intention or know why you're doing it before you take an action.
Yeah.
Like, most people don't. They just act, and then they have to. And not that you can't be successful that way, but it is the longest way to be successful. It takes a lot longer doing that than having intention behind your actions, knowing why you're doing something. Why am I taking this? Why am I knocking on this door? Why am I, what's the end result? Is it just to get a detail, or is it to create a lifelong customer? Yeah. Well, if I'm just trying to get a detail, I'm going to go and do my song and dance and give them the best deal. But if I'm trying to create a lifetime customer, I'm going to approach that door knock or that sales call differently. I'm going to show them the upfront value and what that's going to look like over the long term. Yeah. So having intention with everything that you do and having the end result in mind allows you to set those things up for long-term success and at an accelerated rate.
Yeah, it really does, because you're eliminating, again, like we try to do, you're eliminating all the stuff that you don't need to be focusing on, that you don't need to be spending anything on, and it gets you much closer, faster to where you want to be.
Right. They say that 20% of your actions create 80% of your results. So if you find out what that 20% is and put most of your time towards that 20%, that's where 80% of your growth or your paycheck. And you think about it, if you're at a corporate job, 20% of the things that you do create 80% of your output in work. So figure out what those are and focus on that 20% more. That's the quickest way to accelerate things.
I say the same thing about employees. 20% of your employees take 80% of their time.
That's right. So get rid of those 20%. Cut those problem children out. Save yourself the time. That's a great point. That's actually super valid.
And what we did, the way we narrowed it down also, because as a business, you have to think about what's going to be financially in the best interest of the business. So what we did was, from the get-go, it was always to find, through different types of work, to find the highest profit margin within the business. So we've done everything. We've done industrial equipment. We've done animal transportation. We've done fleet work. We've done collections of vintage rare exotic vehicles. We've done exotic sports cars.
Is collections a nice way to say repo? Is that what you're saying?
Not that type of collections. But yeah, we've done the whole gamut of detailing, and through doing that whole gamut, we wanted to find, we're not big car guys. That's just not our thing. We found what the highest profit margin is. We found where the money was, and we built it off of that, not off of what we like to do, not off of it wasn't like, oh yeah, I want to work around these Ferraris all day. That's not, no, and we don't want to. Sal has a bad back.
That's all back work.
We're in those little cars.
You're laying down.
It's just, there's a lot of stuff that but it is it is cool to experience that and to have that. You know, we have a lot of friends in the industry that's all they do, and they do great work, and I think it's fantastic. But for us, we want the highest profit margin for the least amount of work. It's that simple. So we stick to the jobs that do, and that's how we have time. People are like, "Why? How do you guys have so much time?" Well, between process and that, and eliminating almost all the problems that your business has, you have so much time on your hands. You know, and now you can travel and see your friends and hang out and podcast and do the fun shit.
But you set those things up from the jump.
Yeah.
You had that vision.
And it was very hard.
Yeah.
It was very fucking hard. Let's not get that wrong. It was a lot of trial and error, a lot of searching, and a lot of experience that we had to kind of go through and say, fuck no, we're not doing that anymore. Or nope, that's not going to be something we offer anymore. Okay, this is where we need to go. We need to go down this path. And like one of them was like rock chip repair. You kidding me? Am I gonna do some rock chip repair for $250? That takes me 10 minutes, or am I gonna do an exterior wash and wax or whatever for $150? Like
that takes you 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Like give me that that squeegee and that paint shit. You know what I mean? That paint. So like stuff like that. Like we're on a mission for that. Yeah. Like that's where we're at. We're like, what's making the money? Like what's making the money, keeping us happy, and giving us time back. Like if it doesn't fall within those categories, it's like you know,
move on.
Yeah.
Damn. I got pee.
Okay.
Time out.
Yeah.
Peace. But yeah, man.
These mics are
see like that.
Are these magnetic?